Hey everybody, I'm Josep the Viking, and today we got some really exciting news for Dune Awakening. Funcom announced private servers will be coming on launch day, and yes, they'll be available to those who pre-ordered the deluxe or ultimate editions and get the 5-day head start. In this video, I'll cover how private servers work and the pros and cons of playing on a public server versus a private server for this game in particular. It's quite a bit different than many other games that you might have played. And if you are going to get a server for Dune Awakening, make sure you save 10% with my link, juroktheviking.com/gportal. Okay, so here's the article that they published, and I've got the link down in the description, but I'm going to go through it for you because there's some interesting information here. When you rent a private server, you essentially rent a server containing one Haga basin, just like the official servers. Here you have the full Haga basin map, and you can do everything you would do on an official server. Your private server will belong to a world consisting of other private servers, and you can choose a world for your private server when you rent yours from a provider. That means that you will still be able to take full advantage of Dune Awakening's large-scale multiplayer content and mechanics, including visiting the social hubs and the deep desert to meet and play with people from any private server in the same world. This is really cool that they're able to accomplish this. So it's basically like the public servers, except your Haga basin is private. So players do not rent or control social hubs nor the deep desert. These are provided by the server hosting company, who ensures each private server's world has them. What settings will be available for our servers? Because private server will belong to the world of other private servers, and you will be meeting and playing with other people in the social hubs and deep desert, you won't be able to control every aspect of how your private server works. Which settings you can configure for your server is ultimately up to the third-party server provider, but these are the settings we are making available. These include security zone. You can disable security zones entirely, making all parts of Haga Basin PvP enabled, or you can choose to have pockets of PvP like on official servers. So for some reason it sounds like they aren't going to make servers that only have PvE. There's still going to be these pockets of PvP. So maybe if you want PvE server only, meaning you do not want PvP, it's going to have to be something that your community, the people you allow to log on to your server, that everybody agrees to. So this is at least a good compromise for those who don't want to do any kind of PvP. The other setting we get is taxation. We can disable taxation on our server, which means you don't have to worry about your buildings decaying away to the sandstorm or whatever if you stop paying your taxes. And then the last setting that we're going to get, at least initially, is sandstorms. We can disable sandstorms, making them not appear on our server. In addition, you will also be able to name your server and set a password for it so that you can limit who has access. Okay, so let's talk about the pros and cons of playing on a public server versus a private server. First off, if you join the Funcom public servers, the pros are that you get a chance to meet new players and make new friends outside of your community and your guild. This could be really nice to meet new players. And even if you're in a guild, you won't be able to meet new players and invite them to your guild. Let them see the way that you and your guild like to handle situations and like to play together and help others. Public players won't get to see that, and you won't attract new players in that way. You'll have to find another way to attract new players. Another pro is that no one has to maintain or pay for the server. So obviously, if you have a private server, somebody will have to pay for that and maintain it, and not stop paying for it so that everybody loses their progress and the world. I don't know if they'll allow us to download the worlds to then upload to another server. Say you want to move your world, your server to another host provider. I'm not sure if that's going to be a thing. So now let's talk about the cons of playing on public servers. If you played Conan Exiles or just about any other game that has public servers, you've seen a lot of these. Basically, especially for launch, you might have to wait in long queues for a spot to open since there are only 40 people per server, or what they call the siege. You know, if you're playing with a bunch of other people, or even just a few people, you could just be playing with one other person, and on launch day or maybe the first few weeks, if your server's full, you can't get on. You're going to have to wait in a queue. And another con to that is, say your server's really full and you're really far down on the queue. So you think, well, I'm going to go do some leveling up in another siege on another server within the world. And you log onto that one. Well, you are not allowed to do any land claiming, meaning you can't really build a base. If you have a friend there, somebody that you could, maybe use their base, maybe help them build their base, but you won't be able to claim any of your own land, which makes doing a lot of different things difficult. And it's not really ideal. You obviously you want to get on your server with your friends and your stuff and your buildings. So what about private servers? Some of the pros are we get to control who can join the server, right? It's password protected. We can update that password. Maybe we can ban people if they're disruptive or they turn out not to be the quality people that we hope they were, especially as you meet new people and invite them to your server. And then, there's no queues to wait in. You can get up to 40 slots and have up to 40 people on your server. So if you've got really big community that you play with, you can even all rent servers and you can give each other access to your servers, to your sieges, and then you can jump in between. And one of the great things about that is that you can place land claims on private servers that you're visiting. Public server, you cannot. If you're visiting another server, you can't place a land claim. Really, really good bonus of having a private server. Then of course we have the server settings that we can set with security zones, a taxation, which is huge, not losing your buildings. And if you don't want to deal with sandstorms, you can disable those as well. Although I think that's a huge part of the game and of this particular survival game. So I don't think that I would turn those off. So let's talk about the cons of a private server. One of the big ones is you're not going to meet new players and be able to bring them into your community, invite them to your guild, invite them to your siege, invite them to play with you, at least not through the game, through the public servers where you might run into people, help them with something, or they help you, and then you just start hanging out together and then you invite them to your community or your guild. That doesn't happen with private servers because you have a closed ecosystem. You have to find some other way to bring people into your community. So if you have people starting to, who lose interest and stop playing Dune, well, your community shrinks. And then the other thing is somebody has to pay for and maintain the servers. So what are you going to do? Are you going to play on the public servers? Are you thinking about a private server? Some people in my community suggested maybe playing on the public server for a little while, see how toxic it is, and how hard it is to get into the servers, and then maybe considering getting a public server after a few weeks or a month of playing. I'm not sure. We're still discussing it amongst our community. Let me know in the comments what you're going to do. But if you do want a community to play with, whether it be on the public server or a private server, why don't you check out my community? We formed back in 2021. We play Valheim and a lot of other games together. I have some private servers, and of course our next big passion is going to be Dune Awakening. We have a guild called the Desert Vikings, and we'd love for you to come and play with us on Arrakis. Just go to my Discord, discord.gg/Jirok the Viking. Join the Dune channel or the public channel and say hello and let us know what game you're interested in playing. Hopefully it's Dune Awakening you want to come play with us. And if you're liking my Feelin' Spicy Sandworm t-shirt, it is available over on my website at my merch store, jiroktheviking.com/merch. Have fun out there.